What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Top Flight Podcast. You know what it is. You know what we're here to do. Not in studio today, but we're on screen bringing y'all another midweek episode of the Top Flight Pod. Tonight with a special episode, special guest, but a lot of people know my G Zac. I'm gonna introduce him. Welcome to the show, mate. How you doing, bro?
I appreciate you guys having me. Obviously, longtime fan of the OGs here at Top Flight Podcast. So honored that you invited me on, and in good spirits after a win last night. So I'm ready to go, man.
Yeah, man, definitely. It was one thing that we've been trying to accomplish with the midweek episodes is trying to have more voices on here. Invite other Austin FC creators, but also invite other fans to come on here. And much like what we do with Spaces, we like to give the fans a voice. You know what I'm saying? So we've had different people on here. We've had Football Critic, my GJC, gonna get Scott on here soon, and also other people that we're trying to have on here. But today we were like, you know what? We got to get Zac on here, and here you are, mate. Here you are. We also got Eric and the other Eric, two Erics right here. But Primo, how you doing, mate? Starting off with you.
Doing good, man. Just chilling midweek episode. I like these midweek episodes. It's a nice little filler, and like you mentioned, we try to get a few people on. So appreciate Zac coming on, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. These midweek episodes are more chill. They have a bit more of a vibe to it. Whenever we can, listen to Bali and B battle it out, it's great. But sometimes we need some Primo in there, bro. We need a little bit of Primo. And then we also got the other Eric, which is the top flight stat and topic contributor. Mate, how are you doing? You're at Old Trafford? What's up?
I'm at Old Trafford, man. How you guys doing? I got a hot take for you guys. I can't wait to get to the podcast, man. I'm brewing something up right now, guys. You're going to love it.
I'm tired of you, bro, straight up. I don't think you guys are even going to get top four. So, but we're going to get to the European segment here soon enough. We got to talk about Austin FC first. But before that we get on there, got to plug in the pod. Everybody check out Top Flight Pod if you can on YouTube. Subscribe to us there or on any audio platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast. Check us out there. Also, North End, my G's, they do a great job. Also on YouTube and anywhere you listen to your podcast as well. You can check them out. Let's get into the episode, y'all. Austin FC versus New Mexico United. 2-0, no time to waste. The U.S. Open Cup round of 32. I got to get y'all's overall thoughts. Starting off with you, Primo, your quick overall thoughts on the match from last night.
Quick overall thoughts. I mean, I'll start with the lineup. Lineup was, as we expected, a little bit of a rotated lineup there. We saw Jimenez in for a minute. He hasn't been included into the team in a few weeks now, so it was good to see him out there. And then we also got the likes of, Ronnie Redes. He's continuing his form and getting as many minutes as he can while Fagundes is out injured. But, at the beginning of the game, this New Mexico side came out kind of pretty strong. We had to watch out with them a bit. But then the goal started coming, and after that, it, was pretty much taken care of by halftime. Second half was a little bit slow pace. But I think these guys were just trying to close out the game. And great goals from Brony, great goal from Ruti. So, Ronnie's first goal, man, it was crazy. It was crazy hearing the support section just chanting his name, and then
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, bro.
It was crazy, man. And then just Urruti getting his goal. I know he hasn't scored in a while, so that was good to see. And it just builds good momentum on for Dallas.
100%, bro. It does build off great momentum for that Dallas Derby game coming up. So I want to get Zac's overall thoughts, mate. Over there at North End, you'll do a great job of covering this team, getting y'all's coverage onto Twitter and other social media. So give us your overall thoughts from last night's game, bro, because we got a lot to really talk about. So go ahead.
I don't think I differ too much from what Primo just said. Like I walked away from the stadium last night satisfied, in good spirits, which we haven't done a ton of this year, right, fellas? So it felt good to be walking out of there, advancing in a knockout tournament, right, for the first time in club history. Came over, said what's up to you guys, and I made you a promise. And I know we'll talk, I guess, a little bit about Dallas. Zardes scores on Saturday. I'm coming on the fan reaction, so I'm looking forward to that. But as far as last night, man, you get the win, you advance, and no injuries. Got some rest for some guys. It was pretty much the perfect run out. Like, could I be greedy and want 3, 4, 5 goals? Sure, but 2-0 out of there, no injuries. We move on. Great night.
B and I have this saying where we just go, well, you know what? We move. And last night, actually, bro, that's exactly what we said. You know what? We move. My dog in here with me. I don't know if you heard that, but Eric, my G, the topic and stat contributor of the Top Flight podcast. Before we go through some timeline highlights of what happened in the game, I got to get your quick overall thoughts, brother. Go ahead.
Congratulations. You finally did it. After how many years? They did it.
Why do you got to do that? Hold on. Why do you got to give a compliment and then take it back like that, bro? I don't like that. I don't like that from you. Go ahead.
It happened. They went through. Chicago Fire is next. I think that's gonna be easy claps for Austin. Surprisingly, I'm saying that, but I like the performance. I just wish that what happened this game would have happened against Violette.
Bro, I was thinking that exact same thing, mate. Exact same thing. This is what should have happened against Violette. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, imagine if this would have happened against Violette. Ooh, you guys would have been top 4 right now. Title. Oof.
Interesting, mate. Now, let's get into some highlights of what happened in the game. This game started off quick, just like Zach pointed out earlier. New Mexico United gets a chance from a poor header clearance by Lima, if I'm not mistaken. Lunkovic was the one that was caught up field, and his side was left exposed. The New Mexico United player number 7 with the ball, with kind of like that ball of death back pass to the penalty area, where I think he kind of passed a little bit behind his teammate, which forced him to kind of lean his body back to kind of get a nice hit on it. Thankfully, the ball goes over the bar. And we're still 0-0. But that was a minute 9, and we could have been down a goal. Zach, if that would have gone in, mate, what do you think the Austin fans would have been thinking of right then and there, bro?
I mean, it would have been tight in that stadium, man. Everybody, I mean, the mood would have been a complete 180 from what it turned out to be. Like you mentioned, that little give and go on that break that seemingly was created out of nothing for them. It felt like we were inches away from the same recipe. Like Eric pointed out, like he said, finally, right? Like that's how those upsets start to brew. Just a little slip up on defense. If they got that first goal, and we're scrambling at that point. I thought we were really lucky to escape that chance there in the 9th minute.
Yes, bro, 100%. And moving on, one of the other things that happened in the game, there was a chance by Lunkovic, minute 15, where, I mean, he had a kind of 2 or 3 of similar chances like this, man. It was on his left side. It was kind of like a Gallagher kind of chance that he would get in some of the games that we've seen in the past. Lunkovic gets a chance and he just blows it over the bar. And then after that, we've seen Rodney Redes take a shot from 30 yards, maybe 25 yards out. Unfortunately for him, the ball goes a little bit too close to the keeper. It's really like in the center. It's right there. You know, the keeper doesn't really have to do much. And if it would have gone a little bit more to the left, a little bit more to the right, a little bit more, you know, with more direction on it, that would have been a banger goal. Redes' goal would have been a banger if that would have gone in. But unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, that one didn't go in, because we do got to move on to the next thing that happened, which was the actual goal. Rodney Redes' goal. Rigoni steals the ball. It's very important. Rigoni steals the ball in the attacking third, which leads to a shot chance by Maxi that ends up in the corner kick, if I'm not mistaken. Fast forward to the corner kick. Rigoni steps over it, which is corner kicks have gotten way better. I do remember in previous times when he has stepped up to take corner kicks, they've been poor. They've been cleared by either the first man, or they're way over, or they're way too close to the keeper. This corner, though, to Redes, I mean, I felt like I was seeing Cristiano Ronaldo set piece style corner kicks, bro. Rodney Redes rose to the heavens, my G. He rose to the heavens. He got up there. I gotta give him credit. Rodney Redes got up there, beat his man to the front post, and he just put a little bit of direction, just like Bali would say. He would say, "Yeah." That's all he did. Just say, "Yeah," right? And it just goes right over the keeper. Little bit of a teardrop. I gotta get Primo's take on this goal, bro. Primo, what was your thoughts whenever that ball went into the back of the net and you realized that it was Rodney Redes?
Man, it was just crazy seeing Ramirez score his first goal. I mean, I was there when he scored that goal against Tigres, and I mean, it was a friendly game. It is what it is. But this had some meaning behind it. His first goal. It's our first Open Cup game at home, and I was up. I was pretty up. I was sitting over there by the broadcasting room, and
Okay.
I saw what's that guy's name? Verdissimo. He was walking
Verdissimo.
around the stadium, and he just happened to be right next to me when Ronnie scored, man. And that's the
Oh my
first dude
God.
I went up to. I'm like, yeah, and I was just like shaking him, and it was just crazy, man. He's getting his confidence up. He's definitely um, playing for the team right now. We've had a few injuries, and he's definitely stepping it up. So shout out to Ronnie for getting his first goal.
Not only shout out to Ronnie for getting his first goal, also shout out to Rigoni for the assist on that, for getting the assist on Redes' goal. But also, we now know that Primo is not Verdissimo. We can scratch him off the list. I don't know who Verdissimo is, but we know Primo is not Verdissimo. Take him off the list. It's not me. I can tell you that. It's not me. I can tell you Verdissimo is not me. But yeah, now we know. Thank you, Primo, for clarifying that. And if anybody out there had a concern, is not my G Primo. Zach, I want to get your thoughts on Redes' goal. We have to really give it a little bit of emphasis because this is like a milestone for this player. I think it was noted by the striker. It was close to 800 days since his debut for Austin FC. But what was your thoughts on his goal, mate?
I mean, it was great. It was cathartic, right? For those of us who have watched this kid as our first ever signing and go through the turmoil of the last 2 years. And like the criticism up until about the last month or so has been 100% warranted. But on the North End podcast, when Diego went down, he was laughing at me, telling me we can't have Rodney Redes start. I don't like it. And look what happened, E. We finally got something out of Rodney Redes, and to me, that is a win no matter what, whether it comes in Open Cup or Leagues Cup or in the league. Like, we have a goal from Rodney that counted, and coming on the heels of his assist from a couple weeks ago, goal contributions in 2 of the last 3 games, like Rodney Redes on a little hot streak here. And like at the very baseline of it, we know that we can count on Rodney now. Once we get healthy, we have him as an actual option that we don't hate when he comes onto the field anymore. It's just, I mean, it's a massive development for a club that was looking for answers. And I mean, when Diego went down, and now, of course, when Driussi went down, like the fact that he is continuing to produce is huge. And I will also, as a former college coach, I have to shout out the coaching staff. That was absolutely a set play off the corner there, and it worked to perfection. So credit to Rigoni for the pass, Rodney for the flick and the goal, but the coaching staff for working on set pieces. And I forget where I heard this the other day. Might have been Moon Tower, and Landon was talking about it, that we're one of the top teams. It actually might have been our buddy Kevin Morris. We are, if not the top team, a top 5 team in XG offset pieces this year. And that's something that it seems like we're seeing that come to fruition now, and hopefully it continues.
That definitely sounds like a Kevin Morris either tweet or statement. XG Merchant right there. XG Merchant, Kevin Morris. Shout out my G. I do want to move on to the next goal, and also shout out to the set piece team, just like you mentioned. That was a great play, bro. Great play. I've seen Sergio Ramos score so many headers like that off of like screens, and I know Brian's gonna be like, "Why are you always mentioning Ramos?" Ramos is always scoring these. Well, he used to just get set up off of these like screens and just score these beautiful headers. 2016, 2017 was an amazing year. Taking me back, mate. Taking me back. But yes, let's get into the next goal. Eric, I want to get your thoughts on the second goal that was scored, Maxi's goal. Now, I had to go back and count. It was a 14 pass sequence. I saw the Ribbinator tweet this, and I had to fact check. I was like, was it really 14 passes? And it was 14 pass sequence leads to Maxi Urruti's goal. If you kind of just go back off of the highlights, Lima was the one that gives the long ball, semi-long ball. It would just cross fields. But what I really want to put emphasis on is the first touch by Rigoni, which is with his chest, because he completely eliminates the player that's trying to mark him with one touch of his chest. And that was absolutely fantastic. To me, that was what created the entire goal, because as soon as he chested into where he wants to go, the ball just leads it, and there's so much space, and he takes that space. They completely opened up for him, and he took that space. You know what I'm saying? And whenever he got in that, he opened it up. Lunkovic, much credit to him, doesn't even think about it. One touch pass. Maxi also one touch finish. Boom. Eric, what was your thoughts on that goal, mate? It was beautiful football. Austin FC has rarely shown that this season, but it's nice to finally see it, even though, yes, it is against a USL side, but you built from this, no? Go ahead, Eric.
Of course we do. It's like sorry, B, but it's like a Real Madrid-esque type of goal with the
B hates Real Madrid. B hates Real Madrid. Relax. Go ahead.
It's the tiki taka,
That's Barca. That's Barca.
No, but Madrid does it too, but we do it progressively. They do it just to waste time.
Okay.
But
okay. Back to Austin.
The sidetrack. I've seen them. When I saw that goal, I was like, ooh, okay. I mean, yeah, you got to give respect to the opposing team, but if you guys do that in the league, oh my gosh, the confidence of Urruti. Give that man 15 goals. Give that man those chances. Give Rigoni that space. He's getting his confidence back. That's what that man needs. He's getting his confidence back, and I like that. And I guess we can finally. I mean, technically, right now we can set the agreement that B was right. You got to give Rigoni a little bit of patience. You got to give him a little bit of time.
Okay.
Let the man cook. Let the man cook. And now look at him. This man, I want to give that man a hug and a kiss, honestly.
Relax. Save that for one of the next topics that we got on, maybe, because we got some more to talk about real quick on the highlights. After that goal, it really was nothing much after that. It was halftime right after that. Boom, they go into the locker room. We see Radovanovic come on. He was an immediate sub. He comes on, sees his first couple of minutes. He looked okay. I think he was all right. We're going to talk about him here in a bit. There was a quote by Josh Wolf. But the second half, it received a lot of criticism as a whole in general by a lot of the Austin FC fans, because a lot of fans in the stadium, and also maybe they were watching it on whatever they were on CBS Golazo or on the BR YouTube app, they were saying that they wanted 4 or 5 goals. And I get it, there was, blood in the water, but there could have been a plan to see out this result. There could have been a plan to take care of the 2-0 Nuggets scored on. And there was chances at the end, and this is why I do want to bring them up. Sofiane Jeffal had a very dangerous diving header saved by the keeper. But moments before that, minute 84, Gallagher comes in, and he sets up Finley. And Finley kind of has his header cleared off of the line by the keeper, if I'm not mistaken, with his feet, kind of with his ankle or with his toe. So big ups to New Mexico's keeper, who was highlighted by Brad in the fan reactions. So that really kept the game at 2-0. Fantastic performance by the New Mexico keeper, even though they did concede 2 goals. But I do want to move on to some player ratings real quick and the lineup talk. The substitutions, though, we had Julio Cascante come in for Leo Väisänen. Alexander Radovanovic, as noted, came in for Alex Ring. Sofiane Jeffal came in for Dani Pereira, who had a game. We got some stats on him in the pod here. Ethan Finley, mentioned he had a chance earlier, came on for Emiliano Rigoni, who got a bit of a standing ovation. He shared the We're Austin TV post onto his story, shout out to Emmy, where the fans in the section where I was at in 134, great seats, shout out to Aggie for those seats. You saw fans kind of applaud Emmy, and he kind of looks up and he's maybe a bit shocked. He's like, yo, they're clapping for me. And he probably felt so happy. Eric, you actually told me this weeks ago. He's like, yo, these fans need to back these players. And this is what it looks like. Man. Last but not least, we had John Gallagher. He came in for Adam Lunkovic, and we said how he sets up a beautiful cross for Ethan Finley, who had it cleared off the line. For the lineup, I have here on SofaScore that it was a 5-4-1. The back five has left a lot to talk about. I'm going to get Zach's opinion on it here real quick. But that back five, what it looked like, it was Adam Lunkovic, Leo Väisänen, Hector Jimenez, Alex Ring, and Nick Lima. So what was your thoughts on that back five, Zach? And then after that, we'll get Primo's take on the midfield. Go ahead, Zach.
I enjoyed the rotation we saw. You mentioned Julio and Rado getting in there for his debut at the half. What I'm excited about, not just this formation that Josh has tweaked kind of as we've gone throughout the season, and maybe his hand's been a little bit forced by the injuries over the last couple games. I'm excited for the flexibility I think we have on this back line now, because we know Ring has done a great job in relief at center back. Hopefully we get to push him up into the midfield sometime soon, because now that Rado is here, like we've seen Kip Keller on the bench a couple games now, we can run out a lot of different combinations back here with Adam and Nick and Hector and Johnny G as the fullbacks, and now with the 3 true center backs here on the first team. Like I'm really excited to see how we kind of mix and match back there. Now that we have some depth, and we've been waiting for this since February. Again, it's the last few weeks, man, are promising, and the defense is a big reason why.
Really made ever since Julio went down. What was it, minute 7, minute 8, I think, against St. Louis? Ever since then, we've been down bad, bro. Ever since then, it's just been, disappointment or injury after injury, or cup exit. And that's why I think this game was so important, to just get the win, just get the win, shut them out, score goals, and obviously don't get scored on. That's how you win a damn game, right? But it was just important to get to the next round, because as a coaching staff, how can you go to the ownership or look at the ownership with 3 cup exits? You know what I'm saying? Exit in the Open Cup versus San Antonio, the absolute embarrassment against Violet. And if you go out against New Mexico this time around, I mean, how can you still have a job? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and we're also on the recent news that, what was it, Chicago Fire let go of their coach, right?
Yeah, Hendrickson's gone.
And they're not too far from AustinFC on the table, if you want to compare numbers like that. Obviously, different situations. I don't want to compare timelines, but Zach, maybe you have a thought on that super quick.
Well, I mean, they also, Struber got let go by the Red Bulls, and there's a little bit more to that with the Dante Van Zier shit and all
100%,
that. But yeah, Hendrickson, I mean, I think you have to think that Josh is looking at those firings this week and just thanking his lucky stars that he's got that extension in his back pocket. Like,
yeah,
I've said a lot this season. I don't think Josh Wolf is going to, the ownership is not even going to entertain firing him until the end of this season at earliest. But if Austin did not advance last night, to your point, like, we would have seen Wolf out. I mean, I saw a tweet in response to one of y'all's tweets yesterday morning saying, "Oh, this is when the Wolf out movement becomes mainstream," and not quite, but yeah, we would have been in trouble if we didn't advance, or Josh would have been taking the heat for sure.
One more point on that before we get Primo's take on the midfield that we saw last night. Even Hercules Gomez from Football Americas, he put Bali and Marcos on his show to open it one time, and he kind of commented on Bali saying, "Josh Wolf, this is, what was it, strike 2 or strike 3, something like that, or strike 1." Hercules Gomez said that this was strike 2. This was and the Violet exit. That's what he was talking about. So it's kind of maybe already gone mainstream just a little bit. Hercules Gomez talking about it strike wise. So we'll see how Wolf progresses this season. But really good point.
Does Herc not give Josh any credit for the Final Four finish that we had last year or anything like that? Like, to me, like, okay,
that's a good question. San
Antonio strike 1, sure, but like, does he not get to reset the count after a full season of success? I don't know.
That's a good question. We should actually have him on Top Flight sometime and see what he thinks about Austin FC. We'll see. But Primo, I want to get your take on the midfield that we saw last night, mate. It was Rigoni, Joan Valencia, who quietly had a great game. He got a little bit of praise on Twitter. I want to send a shout out to Chris Wellhausen and Football Critic. They had some really good tweets on him, kind of highlighting his performances. Some stats real quick on Joan Valencia for you, Primo. He had 91% pass accuracy, 3 out of 3 dribble attempts, 6 out of 11 duels won, and 6 out of 6 long balls. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but John Valencia with the 7.2, Danny Pereira with the 7.1 match rating, and Danny Pereira's stats: 41 out of 41 passes completed, 2 out of 2 successful dribbles, 2 chances created, 6 ball recoveries, and 5 out of 7 duels won. He even earned himself a tweet shout out by the Austin FC communications page. So big ups to Maji Danny Pereira and also Ronnie Redes with a 7.6 match rating. We gave him his praise a little bit earlier, a goal. But Primo, what was your thoughts on the midfield last night?
Just as usual, man. These guys are putting in that work, especially then Pereira, who has seen, I think, almost every single minute so far this season.
Yes,
I know
sir.
you got
Yes,
out a little
sir.
early yesterday, but it's kind of understandable. You know, we have a big game against Dallas coming up. But Danny is just, making that midfield really work. And, dude, 100% accuracy, pass accuracy in the game, it's really good. And so I was seeing the way he was able to receive the ball and make a quick turn and then, move those guys up. And it's all in the works of Danny. So shout out to him for really keeping that midfield uptight. And and same thing with Valencia. He's been little by little getting his minutes in, and every time he's been in the field, I think he's been having a decent performance so far. I know last season he didn't see too many games, not too many minutes, and I think it's definitely an improvement from last year for him. And kind of what Zach said as far as the depth thing, these guys, Johan Valencia is able to step it up and perform in games like this. So having some good depth right there, even though Drusi is out, is a good sign for us. And Sofiane getting minutes in, I think we were all expecting him to come in also. So I think it's looking positive in the midfield. I don't think we've ever really had an issue this season with our midfield, and I think that's it's really important to have at least one good player in
It's
there.
also crazy to be saying this, Primo, saying that we don't have many concerns right now, that we're good in the midfield with Drusi and Fagundes out. I mean, you would think that with those two names out, that we would be dead in the mud. I mean, SKC, maybe LA Galaxy kind of in the mud, but shout out to Rigoni and Redes amongst other players. Gallagher also, big ups to him. He's still top scorer in the MLS with 4 goals. Players stepping up, and that's what we were asking for weeks ago. Whenever we weren't getting the results that we wanted, we were saying, well, Drusi can't do it all because secret's out. That's what I always say. Secret's out. Other teams know that if you shut down Drusi, that's it. It's over. Austin FC completely shuts down. So we needed other guys to boom, step up, score a goal out of nothing, out of nowhere, however you want to. It doesn't have to be pretty all the time. Just get the ball into the back of the net. Luckily, last night we got some pretty goals, just like Zach said, set piece beauty just from the training ground, and also Maxi's goal. I do want to talk a little bit about Maxi real quick. He finished with a 7.0 match rating. Eric, I want to get your thoughts on him, mate. You're a big forward guy, big striker guy. What was your thoughts on Maxi's game last night before we go on to more topics?
Played good, in my opinion. Could have done a little bit better, but I mean, he got the job done. He scored his goal. Hopefully, he gets his confidence back and goes back to scoring ways. But I feel like he has more freedom. He has more confidence. He got a little bit of weight off his shoulders, if you know what I'm talking about, from somebody in the midfield. I don't know who could it be, but I don't know. I see these guys and I see these stats, and I feel like a big name is missing due to injury. And
Get it out, mate. Get it out.
Is it Driussi?
Driussi is out. He's injured. What are you trying to say?
Ronnie Redes is playing great. Driussi out. Rigoni playing fantastic.
Yep.
Driussi's out. And Urruti playing amazing with Driussi out?
You just said that Urruti could have been better.
But he's playing.
He did get a goal.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think we found, and you were saying that they found out, teams have found out how to lock out Driussi, but they haven't locked down Austin FC as a club as a whole.
Real quick, on that note, some fans outside Q2 Stadium were saying last night that we play better without Driussi. And I also saw on Twitter, Fucho had a tweet that actually caused Sebastian Drusi to come on Twitter and send a little bit of a message in a quiet way. And I want to get Zach on here because he was kind of at the front of all this. But there was somebody, apparently, Fucho came out with the tweet saying that somebody behind him at Q2 Stadium was saying how we play better without Seba, all this stuff. And then some other people outside Q2 Stadium, just like I just mentioned, were saying that Seba has gotten lazy, that we play better without Seba. I mean, this, to me, preposterous. I mean, I can't believe that I'm even hearing this. I can't believe that it's even being entertained right now. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'd highly doubt it because Seba is so important to us. But Zach, I want to bring you in on this, mate. Sebastian Drusi got on Twitter, retweeted that tweet, and then he kind of just disappeared off of Twitter again. You caught that moment, screenshotted it, and said, "Yo, I caught you retweeting it." What was your thoughts whenever you saw that, mate? And also, what are your thoughts on people saying that we play better without Drusi?
I mean, they're wrong, but it's fun to have a take every once in a while. Yeah, look, people testing the Ewing theory here with Driussi, like we saw some of that after the Portland match this weekend too, and like I don't disagree that we've seen certain players step up and maybe like give the illusion that we're a better team because these players are now able to, or not able to, out of necessity, have to play a bigger role with one of the best players in the league out for 3 to 4 weeks. So no, I don't think that we are a better team without Driussi. I do think it could be a positive in the long run this season because we're getting, again, like going back to Rodney and how he's shown out over the last couple of weeks. It's unlocked Rigoni, and he stepped up with even a like kind of a renewed confidence, right? Especially in that Portland match because, we started scoring against San Jose, right? We broke the goal streak or the goalless streak. Seba was playing that game though, so like it's just not a one-to-one comparison here. In terms of the tweet or the retweet rather, I love it because to me that this man is hungry to get back on the field.
Okay.
He's not happy or satisfied at all with the product that he has put on the pitch this season or the team. And so again, we know Seba, right, is more of that quiet leader, right? He's not super outspoken. And some people question that. And I think that's fair too. But to me, I see him now with that type of like little hint. He's revving up to go and get back to 2022 Driussi or as close as he possibly can. So I'm really excited for him having that attitude and kind of showing us like, hey, I see you idiots out here dropping takes like the team is better without me. He's going to show us when he gets back. And
this is his team, bro. This is his team.
Yeah, he's the fucking man.
I agree,
Sorry
mate.
for
You're good. No, hey, you're good. You're good, mate. I do want to put out this quote by Josh Wolf on the Seba situation. This was put out by the striker. Shout out to my G Phil West. We also put this out on We're Austin TV because this quote kind of just stuck out to me. Wolf goes on to say, he says, "We can win games without Seba. We can score goals without Seba. It's important that our guys see that and feel that and now truly believe that. And it's not just against New Mexico. It's the past weekend in Portland as well. So going forward, we're going to need that hunger. We're going to need that belief and certainly the commitment and the contributions from the many that you've already mentioned." I'm sure he's talking about some of the other players. Now, another note that I have here, going back to Primo, what he said on Danny Pereira on the minutes, bro, the kid has played 900, the most, on top of Stuver because he's goalie. So big ups to Danny Pereira playing 900 minutes in the MLS. But to finalize the Sebastian Driussi thing, I don't think that we play better without Driussi. I think this is his team. I'm happy that the boys are stepping up. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy that we're finally seeing other guys be able to step up, and that's just great. Now, I want to read some comments real quick. Sorry it took so long to bring that up. But from the Instagram post on We're Austin TV, some fans had to say, we had Sip Tony. He says, "It's good to know the guys can still handle business without our best player on the pitch, but we do need him." ATXFC Rose said, "Cool. Now loan Zardes to a USL team and get a proper striker under 300 years old." Stephen Mackey Photo said, "I think Rigoni feels more freedom and is stepping up. I definitely noticed his influence last night and when he left the pitch." We also had Texas Nando says, "Damn right, Gaffer." And then Savor Each Day 68 said Rigoni is growing. Danny and Stuver are solid. Add Seba and Diego plus Rado in the back with a return of Cascante, and we will see. Excuse me. And we will see more wins. And last but not least, we had honorary ball sack say, now if he'd just take the handcuffs off the guys who can and want to run. I'm sure he's talking about Wolf. And then Zach Murillo, one more. He says, wow, coach says something useful for once. So fans,
Hey,
I guess.
Aruti is older than Zardes, by the way.
That's tough. That is tough. I actually didn't know that. I thought it was the other way around.
It's not by very much, but he is.
Real quick, boys, I want to talk about the 7-11 partnership. Now, we did talk about the goals, but I want to put an emphasis on this dynamic duo that's going off right now for Austin FC. While Diego and Seba are out, they are stepping up. I'm talking about Redes and Rigoni. In the game last night, Redes, of course, he had his goal off of the corner kick, beautiful header. Other than that, he had one chance created, 3 duels won, 23 out of 27 pass accuracy, and 100% dribble rate. I mean, big ups to Mr. Ronnie Redes. And a stat on Rigoni from the Austin FC communications page on Twitter. They said that they put out Rigoni has contributed for a goal in 3 matches, 1 goal and 2 assists. So that's absolutely fantastic that he's finally broken that seal, just like Josh Wolf was talking about early on in the season. Now, one question that I wanted to ask, and I want to start off with Primo right off the bat, and then we'll get everybody else's thoughts. Primo, when everybody else is healthy, do you keep Rodney in the lineup, or do you sub in Diego when he comes back? What do you do, bro? Because Rodney right now, he's feeling it. His football is flowing through his veins. But when Diego comes back, are you taking Rodney out, Primo?
Man, that's a tough question right there, because if we go back to how our lineup was at the beginning of the season, and I'm pretty sure that's what our star lineup would be if we had everyone healthy, is we had Diego on the left and Rigoni was playing on the right. So if we were to bring in, decide to keep Redes on the lineup, we would either have to sit Rigoni out or keep sitting Faunus on the bench. And I mean, to be honest, I kind of like how we're playing right now, man. I kind of like how we're playing with Rigoni and Redes both out there. And to be honest, before Diego Faunus got injured, there wasn't much being produced by him. So I don't think it would be too much of a gamble sitting Faunus out for Redes, especially because he's been, doing good right now. I will take Redes in for Faunus, man, even if he got healthy. I would want to see Drusi, Redes, and Rigoni on the field together and see what they can do. And then maybe have like Urruti up front. But that's how I would see it, because honestly, you can't put Fagu, Rigoni, and Redes on at the same time. One of them has to sit. So I will take Redes right now, bro.
Zach, same question goes to you, man, and then we'll go to my J. Eric. Are you going to keep Rodney Redes in whenever the time does come that Diego comes back? And the time is right around the corner. I think it was reported by Phil West. He tweeted out recently saying how Josh Wolf said that Diego could be ready to go as soon as this weekend, bro. I think it was against Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. It could be a little bit after that, but I think Phil West said that Diego could be ready for Dallas. But I want to get your thoughts on that main question. Whenever Diego comes back, Zach, I mean, are you keeping Redes? You putting Diego back in? Diego did get that brand new contract, and Wolf loves to bring it up. So what's your thoughts, mate?
I think Primo's spot on that, like, it's tough now because Rodney has played so well recently and has earned those minutes at this point and that spot. But if Diego's ready for 60-plus minutes here, I would start him. I think we'll see him be eased in, coming off the groin injury. Like we saw it with Julio too, right? Not playing a full 90. So I think ultimately I'm fine with either guy in the 11. I think over time, Diego's going to win his spot back. He's the better player, and that'll play out over a larger sample size. But to me, it's another positive. Boys, we're arguing about lineup decisions. We couldn't do that a month ago. The 11 was set. The only discussion was, are we going to play Maxi or Zardes, because both of them suck right now? And we were down in the dumps, and now we actually have discussions around that, and that's a great thing for this team as we continue to get more healthy. So, man, if Diego is fully cleared, It's not fair to Rodney, but sports ain't fair, man, especially when you get to the professional level. And I would roll Diego in the 11 if he's completely good to go. But I have no issue if he comes off the bench and we get more Rodney, because he deserves the start. Again, it's not always fair.
I love that, bro. Sports ain't fair. And at the end of the day, a lot of people forget that this is a results business and you got to score goals. You know what I'm saying? So really, really good point on that, man. Sports ain't fair. Let's see. I have a quote here from Josh Wolf before I get it, Eric's take. Josh Wolf on Rodney Redes, he goes on to say, he says, as much grief as he's probably gotten, he hasn't probably gotten a fair shake of getting the starts. But last year, we performed extremely well. It was challenging to get him in the lineup. So his minutes this year, I think he's helping and contributing. We praise him quite often and what he does at the training field. Now, it's how can you bring that into the game? And you see it again tonight, what he's capable of doing. And that was Wolf on Rodney Redes. I do want to say this, though, to everybody that's listening to Top Flight and, and tunes into any We're Austin TV content that we drop. Rodney Redes is really no angel also. We do have to go back to the time when it was a important playoff game and my G was at Zucker Park. You know what I'm saying? This guy has not been, it's not a Cinderella story. This guy is not, he hasn't been necessarily, quote unquote, treated unfairly as to maybe Wolf is trying to say. Ronnie Redes has been sluggish in the past. There's been times where we see that he's really not into it, maybe more into the lifestyle of that soccer player. But this season, credit to him. Looks like he's turning a corner, maybe maturing a bit more. Wolf said that he is a young player. It's not easy to leave the country where you're from, go somewhere where they don't even know the language. So maybe he's in a phase in his life where he's maturing as a man, and that's affecting his football. As we see, he just looks more focused. He looks more focused. He looks like he's at Q2, feet on the ground, and I just want to give him credit for that, 100%. Some more quotes. This one is from Rodney Redes. He says, on the stadium chanting his name, and I want to spend just a couple minutes on this. Redes says, of course I heard it, and it made me happy. Thanks to the fans for all the support, and I hope the wins keep on going. That was Redes on the stadium chanting, Rodney, Rodney, Rod. And that video from the We're Austin TV story, it actually made the rounds in Paraguay. It was picked up by a lot of people in Paraguay and shared on their story. So I'm happy that fans down there are happy that Redes got his goal. And also just one more quote. This is Redes on Sebastian Driussi, kind of dropping a little bit of Estradamus take right there. Seba, this is what the quote is. It says, quote, Seba told me in one of these games, my goal would fall. And boom, against USL side New Mexico United, Ronnie Redes' goal fell. But Eric, I want to get your take. I mean, obviously, Ronnie Redes is basking in the celebrations right now. But there was a fan outside Q2 Stadium that said that he didn't have no part, no take in those chants of Rodney, Rodney, Rodney. Do you think that's right, mate? Or you think that everybody should be taking part of these stadium chants praising this player?
Say who it was.
It was my GRB22. Go ahead, Eric.
I'm gonna. Wow, that is a tough one. I'm the one who said you're gonna back him, so you guys are proper for chanting his name and getting his confidence up. Like how you were saying that Emmy was looking at the stands and like, wow, they're chanting for me. Well, also for Ronnie Redes. Since his debut, he's finally scoring his goals. And
let me put it in bit simpler terms for you, since I see that you're at Old Trafford right now. Would you chant for a player? Would Old Trafford chant for a player that after 800 days after making his debut finally scored for Man United after 3 years? Would Old Trafford chant that player's name?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
I would.
All right. If you say so, I'm gonna take your word for it.
To get his confidence back, to get his confidence good, and see the performance that Rodney's been doing.
Good answer.
If we had a player like that, we would, because I would build his confidence. I would build him up more and more and more, and that's good for him. I mean, he doesn't need to put his feet on the ground like, yo, relax. It was go like, let's get for more. Let's get hungry for more, But I think it's good. I think it's good that they chant for him, because if you're just like, oh, well, he's getting subbed off, good job, mate. And then he's gonna be like, well, okay, I guess so. You know, but if you're chanting, look at this, his whole country's like, wow. No, they're supporting one of our men, you know. So I think it's a really good gesture from the fans to, you know, be supporting one of their players like that. Like I've always said, ride the wave, support them in the good and the bad and the ugly. So
Okay, all right, Eric, with a bit of a positivity spin on that. Good job on that. I want to get Zach's thoughts before we get Primo's on my GRB's take on the fan reaction, saying that he took no part in the Ron Redes chance, and some fans are also saying, you know what, he's right, I'm backing him. Ron Redes shouldn't be getting this much praise. RB also said, when are we gonna get Danny chance? When are we gonna get Finley chance? So maybe he has a point. Maybe Ronnie Redes has not done enough to deserve these chances, but I'm just playing devil's advocate here. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Well, look, RB, you know I love you, my boy. But, like, can we be happy for one night? Come on, man. Like, look, and it's a little bit different from a player on another team like a Man United that has decades and decades and decades of history behind it. This was our first ever signing. And he's a young guy, like you mentioned. It was his first time away from his home country. And so, like, we've been giving this guy shit, whether it's to his face in the public square on Twitter or on fan reactions or in Slack channels where he doesn't have access to.
Or
the kid is a meme.
Or does
Maybe
he have a burner?
does. You never know. You never know. But look, the kid has been a meme to this point, and you know, I think I'm not saying it was like a sarcastic chant, but it was just kind of the culmination, like a release, not just for him and his teammates. Like you see Maxi come over, give him the extra hug, little kiss on the top of the head. Like his teammates knew what it meant for him. And we all did in the stands. And that's why, to me, like for me, I was enthusiastically chanting Rodney because it's different from Finley and from Danny. Like we've had, Danny's one of our best players. Finley had his moments last year, but it's just for those of us who have been here since the beginning, right? That was our first ever signing. It's been such a long road, and for it to finally happen last night, on top of getting the win, which we haven't had a ton of at Q2 this year, like it was just like a little celebration. I thought it was fine.
Spot on. I think spot on, mate. I do want to say this: the result against Dallas. And we're going to talk about that just real quick. I'm kind of moving along forward. But the result against Dallas is going to change a lot. So we do have to wait on that just a bit. But you're right. We do have to celebrate Ronnie. I mean, you know, we got to be happy for the players whenever they get these kind of goals, important for them. And on Eric's point, you know, you got to back the players to try to build off of their confidence. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Rigoni shared onto his story the video of the fans clapping for him. So you see that some of these things, these small moments, even though you don't think much of them, they affect the players' morale, mentality a lot. And I guess Primo, I want to get your take on the whole situation, mate. It's given a lot to talk about right now. Fan reactions are like at 300 views right now. Fans are dropping their takes in the comments. Aries Silva, shout out my G. Aries Silva. He says, damn, RB still hated. So, Primo, your thoughts on the situation right now? My G, RB22, not happy with the stadium chants. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's a goal, man. I mean, you can't really. I don't really try to hate on goals. You know, that's something always that's always positive. So, and especially coming from Ronnie Redes, like Zach said, this guy has been a meme throughout his career here in Austin.
A meme.
And I'm personally never gonna forget when you asked me when we did our very first interviews, dude, at Tilke Park, and you asked me who my favorite player was, and it was Ronnie Redes because he was going off that preseason.
Shout out Primo. Shout out Redes. He
had a good preseason that year, and so
he was on 4 goals in that preseason, tied with Danny Houston. I'll never forget.
And so, I mean, it helped the team win. I think Ronnie's goal motivated the team. I think they wanted to continue that fire. They wanted, you know, it was Ronnie's goal. Everyone saw how much it meant to him. And I think this team wanted to back that up with a good performance. And so I think overall that's what helped the team win. We didn't get this far last year, man. And last year we had our big guns last year. So with Ronnie Redes coming out and like I said, he's stepping up. He's doing what he's supposed to do. So I can't see why anyone would want to hate on that. I mean, I think it's just, yes, it took him a long time, but you have to start at one point. If you want to see someone get better and someone contribute in a positive way, it has to start somewhere. And I think this is a good start for Ronnie Redes. Our first Open US Open Cup win. Yes, it was against New Mexico, but like I mentioned, we didn't get far this year, last year than this year. So it's definitely positive, man. Definitely positive.
To the takes out there, that are kind of leading off with, oh, it's just New Mexico. I'm gonna say you can only beat the opponent that you have in front of you. You know what I'm saying? So they came to Q2. We had to get the job done, and that's what we did. So just want to point that out. Let's see, Primo, on the Redes situation, I do want to make a point for RB. I want to give maybe a little bit of backup, a little bit of support. Maybe fans listening, and maybe I'm going to actually give a shout out to Jeremiah, the announcer. I would really love if we could get like a Seven Nations Army kind of chant going for Danny Pereira, like, oh, Danny Pereira. Or we could do Emiliano Rigoni. Something like that. Something simple. It'd be super cool, super nice. RB saying that when are we gonna get other players' chance? Boom, idea right there. All right, just like The Office. Boom, roasted. Let's go. One of the close to the final topics that we want to talk about here on the Austin FC segment of the Top Flight Pod, we have a couple minutes left, is Sofiane Jeffal gets called out by Josh Wolf. I mean, this was out of nowhere, and I want to spend just a couple minutes on it. The quote from Wolf on it, Wolf goes on to say, I think he's a little sloppy on the ball, but he's coming off with an injury. He gives us quality and calm as a 6. He could also play if we wanted to use our front 3 and a different way where they can play in pockets. But good to get him in. Mixed message right there. It's kind of like Eric earlier. He gave me a compliment and then took it right back. So maybe Eric Wolf. Maybe that's the new name that we're going to go forward with this. But Zach, we were talking about this today on Slack. A lot of the boys in LDR had some stuff to say on this situation. Some people were saying, why would he call him out? But you had a little bit of a different take on it. You said that you were okay with the coach coming after a young player like this. What do you got to say to the fans that will tell you, hey, this is a coach that needs to be building up his young players? Defend your take, mate.
The difference between me and the other guys, by the way, like, all those boys in the LDR Slack, right? It's elite, H, but
it is elite. It is very elite.
The difference today between me and everybody else arguing against Josh here was I actually watched the press conference and the clip, and if you watch it, he's not really criticizing him at all. And if I rewatched the game as well, and then went back to Sophie's minutes, and he was a little sloppy on the ball last night. To me, it's Josh holding his young player accountable because he didn't play up to the standard that coach knows he can last night. He immediately, right after he says he was a little sloppy with the ball, he says, but he's coming off an injury. He gives us quality and calm as a 6. And then he talks about how versatile he is positionally. Like, there's like 4 positive things in this quote to just him saying, I thought he was a little sloppy with the ball tonight. It was a big bag of nothing for me. If anything, it's positive. It's encouraging to a young guy like Jeffel, who we're gonna need, by the way.
So maybe fans looking too much into it.
Yeah,
possibly.
For sure. Hey, that doesn't sound like us, does it?
That doesn't sound like Austin FC at all. No, not at all. Now, Eric, I want to get your take on the situation with Sophie Jeffal. You're a guy that likes to pay attention a lot to the youth. And their come up, Garnacho being one of those players, Man United, of course. But what's your take on this? Maybe fans looking too much into it, trying to sell something that's not there. Wolf maybe holding his player accountable to the standard that he knows he could play at, just like how Zach just said. Go ahead, Eric.
I'm back with what Zach is saying. I mean, he had like 4 positives in what he said, and people are like, "Oh, he's talking about how he's sloppy." No, you don't have to make that a big deal. You gotta look back at the footage, look back at the tape, and recall, yo, that's facts. Like, it's good that my manager, my coach, the gaffer is calling me out on things that I may need to fix, but he's also bigging me up in a way that, like, he's giving me a boost, a bit of a confidence that, yo, I can do better. So let me fix that. Because I remember, I don't know if it's right, but you guys were saying that he had a pretty decent, good game in the Violet game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah, so he had a good game against Violet, but, it's football. It's life. You're a human being. You can't be perfect in everything. So, sometimes you're going to have a good game or a bad game. And this one was, unfortunately, a bad game. So, he just needs to pick himself up and, when he gets his minutes, try to prove Wolf right. Like, yo, I can do better. I'm going to do better.
Primo, last question on Sophie goes to you, mate. Just real quick, sum it up before we go on to the Chicago Fire. If Sophie scores that goal, are we even hearing Wolf say this? Is Wolf even talking about his poor performance or sloppy performance, or is it kind of more praise for Sophie? Go ahead, Primo.
If it goes in, I mean, definitely a little bit more praise. Definitely, 100%. I think that probably would have overshadowed everything else. But I mean, yeah, like, coach has to do what he has to do. You can take it as criticism, and just build off of it. If you get called out, all right, you just take it to the chin and move on with it and try to improve next game. Maybe Wolf did really, he said it for a reason. You get sent out there to close out the game, and if you're not up to pace with everyone else, even if it's a few mistakes here and there, it's gonna get called out. Coach Wolf has done it before, and I think he's done it to players that we maybe didn't think deserved the criticism at that time. He's gonna call you out. So,
yeah. You say real quick. You say that Wolf probably said it for a reason, but Wolf says a lot of stuff, bro. He says a lot of stuff out of nowhere, and just like you said, he calls out players that maybe didn't deserve it. But go ahead, mate.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too much to look into it. Just take it to the chin and move on.
I like that. I think Zach kind of hit it spot on early into this topic. He kind of broke it wide, broke it loose, let the dogs out, I guess you could say. So really good point on that, my G. Now, I do want to go into the next topic, one of the last topics on the Austin FC segment of the Top Flight Pod. It's episode 97, I believe, almost getting to 100. But it is the Chicago Fire preview. We did draw them up next. That's who we're going to play. So the draw situation, we got drawn out first. We do got to point that out. That's correct. So we are a host, along with Houston Dynamo. They are also a host. They got drawn second. And our opponent, Chicago Fire, a team that right now is struggling. They're not trending upwards. We're trending upwards right now. They might be trending downwards, I guess you could say. But Zach, I want to get your thoughts, maybe a little bit of a prediction. This Chicago Fire U.S. Open game that's coming up. What's your thoughts, bro?
I think we're doing about as good as we can in the luck department with these draws, like drawing the only USL team that was in our pod in the last round and then drawing the Fire out of the pod for this round. And like you mentioned, we get picked first. So not only do we host this match, but if we advance, we host the Elite 8 match as well in the second week of June, whenever that next round is.
Love it.
And that's huge for us to be able to have these games at home. And you would think that the attendance, even for a midweek match, will continue to grow as we progress through the tournament, because these games are just going to mean that much more. In terms of Chicago, like, they certainly have guys on their team that can be dangerous. Like, you've got Kai Kamara, who's immortal. It seems like, keeps scoring goals even at his advanced age. Shaqiri is back, and I know he's not what he once was, but
I haven't heard the best of things of Shaqiri. I think Eli Lesser came out with a video not too long ago on his Instagram saying, should Shaqiri leave? So I don't think they're too high on him right now.
Yeah, he was hurt for a while this year, just got back, but Gutierrez, and that's another thing, is they didn't release their U20 guys for the World Cup, I think.
Yes, big news on that.
Interesting decision, but like, that's some more talent that they're going to have in that matchup. So like, I don't think it's a walkover by any means, but like you mentioned earlier, I think they are right above us in the table. Like, they are also struggling. And at the end of the day, I think up and down our roster, especially if Seba is back by then, like fingers crossed that he's coming back in a couple weeks. We should beat this team, but it's Open Cup and things get crazy. So yeah, I think we're gonna advance past that, and then you host the winner of Houston and Minnesota, and we really have to see Houston in that match. Like I want the smoke, but like 4 times in a year, I don't know. And if Reynoso's not back for Minnesota, I think I'd rather play them.
Yeah, and I think he is going to be joining them if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Reynoso
just showed up.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be interesting. He is so good for them, and he himself, he's a quality player. So it's going to be very interesting. I think somebody was going to pick him for the draft that we did, and I was
RB
like,
did, yeah.
and I had read something earlier that week saying that he was possibly injured, but little did we know it was about him allegedly, or I don't know if it even is allegedly anymore, but him getting into some kind of like altercation with a minor in Argentina with a gun, something about a pistol whip. I don't know. It gets weird, but just
Yeah.
athletes, whenever you go on vacation, be smart. Don't be dumb. Make smart choices and come back to your job, because you don't want to ruin your life or ruin your career in a night of drinks or some reaction or some altercation that you're going to regret for the rest of your life. But let's see, to get back on topic, I'm sorry to go down that super deep rabbit hole on the Chicago Fire. Primo, I want to get your thoughts and maybe a bit of a prediction for that game that is coming up, Chicago Fire at home. Also, real quick, Zach, you did point out that since we were drawn first, we get the next home game if we advance. I want to credit our playoff run last season to the fact that we were at home. So I think that will be crucial for our Open Cup run. I know Bali really wants to win this tournament. He's been putting a lot of emphasis on it. So being at home would be fantastic for us. So, Primo, your thoughts, your predictions, mate. Go ahead.
I mean, it's going to be an interesting match for sure. You know, we never really played Chicago like that before. I think this would be our first official meeting. I think we probably played them in preseason once or twice, but I mean, it's great that we're at home. Well, we got to take what's given to us. I would have hated to travel all the way to Chicago and play a game there, but I think we're going to come out with the win. I think we're definitely going to put out a stronger lineup. Maybe nothing too crazy, but for sure some of the more familiar faces, and I don't know. I'll probably say good 2-0, another 2-0.
All right. It's gonna be interesting.
You know, I think our defense is gonna be a little bit more solid by then. So I'm predicting a clean sheet, 2 goals. Who knows? Maybe a Rigoni brace, another Ronnie Redes goal, something. But I think our big challenge isn't gonna be until the next game, either against Houston or Minnesota. I think that's where it's really gonna come down. So we got another good game coming up in the Open Cup. We gotta go as far as we can with this one. I think it's definitely better. We got a better chance of winning this one than the MLS Cup right now. So
chill.
Put my chips in for the Open Cup.
Chill. Just like Bali. Bali really wants to win this cup, mate. So I think, I think we'll probably advance against Chicago Fire. This is a game. I said to a tweet that was sent out earlier today. I think it was Tom from MLS Aces. He asked me, he said, how do we feel about the game? I said that I think this is a game that we feel like we could win, not a game that we're going to win. Oh, we're going to hit them like a truck, like somebody that I know said about a certain team. But I think that this is a game that we can win. We can feel confident about winning this game. Our chances about winning this game, I think, just like I said earlier, we're trending upwards right now. And I think Chicago is a team that's unfortunately trending down. Well, fortunately for us, unfortunate for them, they're on the downward trend. So score predictions, we heard 2-0 from clean sheets. I think that they get 1 on us, but we get more than 2. I say 3-1 for Austin FC against Chicago Fire in the Open Cup. 3-1, convincing win. Because we're just going to get stronger. We're just going to get better and better and better. and we'll go from there. So I want to go on to the European segment. I got to talk about the Champions League real quick. I do want to give a shout out to Owen Wolf for his U20 call up. Big ups to him. Just like Zach said, a lot of teams didn't release those U20 players for the World Cup in Argentina, but Owen Wolf made it on that list. Some people were saying that he's only on there because his dad is the coach. Those people probably don't even watch the games because Owen Wolf has been balling out. He had a banger goal against RSL. He had a really good preseason. We saw a great goal against Inter Miami, and also going off, a lot of small little things that he's been doing right for Austin FC, small passes. Defensive partnership with Danny. They've been a headache for some of the teams. A lot to learn. I'm not trying to sell this guy as the next Kante or the next Casemiro, but credit to Owen Wolf. He's been a really good young player, and we're gonna miss him. Sorry, Owen, that we couldn't give more time to your segment, but we do got to go into the European part. We'll talk more about Owen on Sunday, and I know that my G's at the North End Pod are going to talk about him as well. They got great coverage over there. We'll definitely hear more about him on that platform. So, boys, let's talk about the Champions League real quick. One of the last things that we talk about on the Top Flight Pod, and of course, we got to start off with Real Madrid versus Manchester City. I mean, there's no other place to start. This was the game of maybe the tournament, game of the month. You know what I'm saying? It was sold as heavy hitter against heavy hitter. It was sold against it was sold like a blockbuster movie. It was Haaland against Benzema. It was Vinicius against, was it Foden? It was Mahrez against Camavinga. It was so many different storylines. Pep versus Ancelotti, Ederson versus Courtois, or KDB versus Courtois. I'm sorry, KDB versus Courtois. We know what's all going on with those two boys. But I do want to say this. I think 1-1 is very, very good. I mean, it's very, very even for both sides, but Man City just disappointed me. I mean, we were coming into this game. I was being told that Man City was going to slap us up. I was told that Haaland was going to drop a hat trick. I was told to get ready. Wayne Rooney even came out and said that not only is City going to beat Real Madrid, he said that they were going to what? That they were going to mop the floor with them or something crazy like that, something disrespectful. But I saw a City team come into the Bernabeu and only drop a goal. Rudiger shut down Haaland. Absolutely fantastic. Big ups to Maiji Rudiger. And one last thought before I go to Eric. Man City, the 2022-2023 team, Man City, I heard that they were the best assembled team in EPL history, and they only were able to muster a point at the Bernabeu. Is this what the EPL fell to? The best team ever assembled in EPL history that breaks records, has this guy named Haaland, could only muster a point at the Bernabeu. I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching. I don't know, but I expected much more from this city. Eric, your thoughts on this game? 1-1 at the Bernabeu. It has to be decided at the Etihad. Go ahead, bro.
It was a good game. I enjoyed it. I watched the second half of it, and I ain't gonna lie, man. They did dominate, control the ball, man. They just didn't have that last bit, which is the shots on goal. But man, I don't know. I was scared. I don't know why. You have all this confidence,
Why scared? Okay, look, hold on. You say why you have all this confidence. I'm asking, why is everybody so scared of City? The past 2-3 years, City wins games before they even step onto the pitch. A lot of teams let themselves be beaten by City mentally. You know what I'm saying? Real Madrid, we don't fold to these teams. You want to come play? Okay, we'll play you. But we're not going to fold to you before we even kick a ball. And I feel like a lot of teams in the EPL, as soon as they hear that they have to play City, they lost the game before even getting on the field, bro. Go ahead.
I mean, if I don't know if the stat was correct, but Vini did not beat Kyle Walker. Vini did not beat Kyle Walker once. That's one of our main guys, the guy who literally set up Rodrigo for the Copa del Rey that we've been wanting for years. Vini was shut down. That overhead flick, shut down. And you know how they hug each other and embrace each other? They can do the defense. They're just missing that one department in the attacking, which was Haaland. Haaland got shut down by Tony Rudiger. But if we're going to Manchester City, think about it. Last year they went to Madrid for the second leg. Now we're going to City. I mean, yeah, the empty hat, I get it. Empty hat, But still, That's their home. And it can be, you have to have a little bit of worry in your heart. I don't know. That's just me as a Madrid.
No, you know why? And I want to get Primo's thoughts on this before I go to my G Zach. You say you have to have a little bit of worry. No, because it's 1-1. Nobody has advantage. And even City going onto their stadium, that's not advantage. They do not scare me. That stadium atmosphere, Q2's atmosphere is a bit more scary. I'm not even gonna lie. But you tell me you should have some scare. You should be worried. It's a final. It's a final, bro. Go to City Stadium. It's a final. It's one game. It's one game. The away goals rule doesn't count anymore, right? So it's just 1-1, 0-0 to me, bro. You go out to that stadium, win the game, and you go on to the final to win the 15 Champions League, which probably is going to be against Inter. Most likely they won 2-0. So the trophy is there for the taking. All you got to do is go to City Stadium and beat them. It's a final. It's not an uphill battle. It's just a final. And Real Madrid performs well in final. City is not a finals team. And Pep sometimes overthinks himself. We'll see what happens. Primo, real quick, your thoughts on the game. Real Madrid versus City, 1-1 the first leg. After that, we'll go to my G Zach.
I mean, 1-1, I think, is a good result for football in general. It's not a good result if you're a Real Madrid fan, because I wanted to go into the Etihad with some kind of advantage or some kind of leverage. But I mean, we're up there with City. I mean, it's we're as good as a team. I don't think Madrid is gonna fold that easily. We've handled Premier League teams in the past really well, and when was the last time Haaland got canceled out like that, man? It took a lot, but I think Real Madrid has a good game plan against Man City. Yes, it's gonna be an away game for us. So I'm not too sure how well the atmosphere affects the games at Man City games. I know with Liverpool you have the Anfield atmosphere, and that's something real special. I don't know if it's as special in Man City.
Spoiler alert, it's not.
so I who knows if there's any kind of advantage there. Yes, it's an away game, but we've beaten teams away before in big moments like this. So a good example was when we beat Bayern Munich in the semifinal.
Yep.
A few years back, and that was a big game. I think that's kind of the same feeling right now. We went into that game a little worried about Bayern, but we took care of business. So I don't think this is anything new. It's gonna be definitely a good game.
I agree.
So shout out for Man City for keeping things interesting.
I said this a couple weeks ago, Primo. I don't know if you remember, but I said that I was more scared of the Bayern Munichs back in the day when they had Ribéry, when they had prime Lewandowski, when they had prime Robben. I mean, they had prime Boateng back there. Those were the days, bro. I was scared of that Bayern team, bro. It was scary times, bro. This City team, I give them respect, but I'm not scared of them like a lot of B. Oh my God, Brian is so scared of Man City. Bali, so scared of Man City. I'm like, guys, it's just 11 players. I mean, it's just preposterous, bro. How some people are just beaten by them before even kicking the ball, and that's not how I see it. It's just not how I see it. But Zach, it is your Top Flight Podcast debut, mate. I'm not sure who your European team is. I don't know if you support a European club. So you can make your allegiance public right now. First of all, tell us who your team is, and then give us your thoughts on the first leg.
Oh, I'm a Liverpool guy, so it's not going great right now. I know I'm letting Eric down. I see it. So obviously, I'm a neutral in this match. I was thoroughly entertained by this match as somebody that didn't have a dog in the fight. You guys know I love hoops first. So watching Rudiger do his best Patrick Beverley impression on Haaland was awesome. And with the 1-1 score, I know you Real fans are worried, and I think you should be going on the road here, but to have this as not just as you put it, H, right? Basically a 1-game final here. I feel and I don't think this is a hot take at all. This is the legit final, because whoever comes out of the other side of the bracket does not have a great chance against whoever comes out of this game. So I mean, this is must-see TV if you're a soccer fan at all, whether or not you pay attention to the European leagues or not. Like, you need to tune into this game.
I agree, bro. I agree 100%. And I actually saw a clip from the Give and Go pod on Instagram, one of my favorite pods. They have some really good clips. The one that I saw was if they were surprised by the storylines of this season in European football. They were saying how a lot of the stuff was business as usual except the Napoli story, which is true. I mean, and the Argentina winning the World Cup one also. But, Barcelona winning their league, Man City probably winning their league, and so on and so forth. PSG winning their league. So the Real Madrid Man City one, you saying that this is probably the final, they're going to go on to win it. I mean, these are some of the two biggest heavyweights right now, bro. The two biggest teams in European football right now squaring off. So I agree 100% with you when you say that this is 100% must-see TV, must-see football for any soccer fan. Doesn't matter who you are. Even Brian, he says that for some reason he hates Real Madrid. I didn't know he felt like that, bro. I mean, I thought he didn't like him, yeah. But to say that he feels bothered by Real Madrid and say that he has too many Real Madrid friends, I took offense to that, B. Straight up. Didn't know. So now I know that B supports the rival team in Mexico. He supports America. I support Chivas. We knew that since 6th grade. But now I know how he really feels about Real Madrid and his Real Madrid friends. Now I know. Now I know. Now I know. So real quick, just some other score lines. Obviously, Inter Milan, they beat their rivals AC Milan at the San Siro for the first leg. There's going to be a second leg there. I don't think AC Milan is going to be able to complete that comeback. Just real quick, Eric, you think they're going to complete that comeback, mate? Down 2-0?
The last 3 encounters that they've had against AC Milan has lost. And an interesting fact, the 3 games that Rafael Leao has not played with AC Milan, they've lost. So
that guy's so important for them.
All the time, the commentators, if Leao gets back, they have a chance. If they nick a goal right now, they can be 2-1. They could probably come back in the second leg if Leao gets back, from injury. I don't know, man.
What's his situation, Rafael Leao?
I forgot. I kind of forgot, but he did get injured, and they were gonna test him to see if he was gonna be able to play. I wanted them to juice him up like they did Modric for our final in the Copa del Rey. But
you guys need to stop with that BS.
Oh my!
You guys need to stop with that BS. But go ahead.
But yeah, they couldn't. They didn't want to risk him. So yeah, I mean, I hope he gets to play because I want a good, fair semifinal between these two giants. I don't want if he would have played or he missed out.
Yes.
Yeah,
I agree.
Back and they have that battle. I mean, it would be interesting. What if they do a remontada like Barca Juve?
Okay. Now, before I ask Primo one of the last questions of the pod, I do have to give big ups to Edin Dzeko, who scored a goal, and I completely forgot this guy still was a professional soccer player. I mean, he's been around for so long, bro. I mean, I remember he was with City before City was, City what it is now. He was with them, a while back, bro. Edin Dzeko, I remember Balotelli days. I mean, so many different players that have gone through that system, and still Man United is in the mud after all those years. They just can't cope. No diss to my G. I don't know why I brought Man United up, but I just had to put that zinger out there. So, just big ups there. Now, Primo, I do want to ask you this, the last question of the Top Flight Pod tonight. And the question is, what are you going to do? What is the first thing you're going to do to celebrate Real Madrid lifting their 15th Champions League trophy after defeating Inter Milan in the final of the Champions League?
I'm gonna just sit back and smile. I don't know, might take a shot or something if I'm at a bar.
You're confident.
Just take it in.
You're confident.
I'm confident. I think, bro, it's Champions League, man. Come on, we got a good chance with when it comes to Champions League competition, and 15 to achieve that 15 Champions League trophies, that is gonna be crazy, man.
Little word, slight word. It's
but
nothing.
it's getting to the point where it's like, yeah, like it's business as usual. But I'm confident, and when we do win, I'm gonna be, I don't know, maybe Mr. Tramps or Hop Squad. I know they don't got shots at Hop Squad, so I'll probably be at Mr. Tramps. And
we do like shots.
With a nice electric jellyfish and a little tequila shot.
All right. Eric, I saw you throw up some hand gestures real quick. Are Primo and I getting too confident? Maybe a little bit too cocky? Real quick.
Yes, yes, you guys are getting way too cocky. Calma, calma, game by game, relax. Because if I hope Madrid doesn't lose, but if Madrid loses, you guys will be memed as a Madrid fan like that. Oh my gosh.
Well, you say that we'll be memed. I've been calling out Holland, saying that this guy doesn't scare me. Everybody was saying, "Oh, he's gonna you're gonna get meme." Where he at, bro? Where
So,
he at, bro?
sorry, Zach. I know you weren't one of these guys, but I heard a lot of Liverpool fans saying they're going to beat Madrid last season, and guess what happened?
I was
All
one of
right.
them. I was one of them.
Zach, finish it up, man. Close us out. Do you think Real Madrid is gonna end up getting to the final, winning it, or you think that it's gonna end up being somebody else?
Look, I'm on a Top Flight podcast, so yeah, Real Madrid's gonna win the whole thing. Lock it up. You can double stamp that. Just don't look at my betting record for MLS this year. And man, look, let me just say, I still get nightmares as a fan of the American team seeing Denzel Dumfries out there for what he did to us in December. And so once those 2 goals were scored, I just had to turn that game off. I couldn't finish it.
All right, we see with the Top Flight Podcast attendees today, and my G, Zach from the North End guests gave their predictions, their verdict, and we'll see what happens in the Champions League final. Appreciate everybody for being here and tuning in. We'll be back with more coverage on the FC Dallas game. That game is coming up this weekend. So right now, when you're hearing this, it'll be probably midday in the morning. I don't know when you tune in, but we'll get it going for y'all, and we'll see y'all soon. Have a good night, everybody.